Today I'm going to be painting birds on a wire with watercolor paints. We start off by drawing an outline of our birds and a little bit of detail, like where the wings separate, where the beak is, where the eye is, stuff like that. We don't want to put in too much detail because in the end we don't want these pencil lines to show up in our final painting. So we have our birds drawn in. Now I'm applying water to the part of the bird where I want blue paint to go. This is a wet on wet technique. First I put the water down and then I dab paint around the edges and where the paint should be darkest on the bird. And I let the water take it from there. And what this does is it creates a really nice organic feel with highlights and shadows, and it makes a very soft feel for the bird. I'm doing the same thing here with the orange and the yellow. Now I'm adding in a little bit of detail with a fine brush and Payne's Gray. I have a very small brush with a very fine tip, and I'm going to be doing the beak, the eyes, the feet, and the wire with this brush. I like to use just a few different colors when I'm doing a watercolor painting because it helps everything look cohesive. Sometimes if you put too much color in there, it can start to look a little bit muddy and messy. When I'm doing the eyes, I'm being careful to leave in a little bit of a highlight. This is a small detail that can really make your bird feel alive. If you just leave the eyes as dark orbs, the birds tend to look a little bit lifeless and the painting tends to look a little less interesting. I'm also taking this opportunity, now that my paint is mostly dried, to add in just a little bit of detail in the wings, just some little feather lines and some shadows. Not too much though. I really do want to let the wet on wet paint determine what the bird looks like. I really enjoy wet on wet painting. It's almost a surprise for the artist. You have a little bit of control over it, but at the same time the paint really does do some beautiful things all on its own. And then it's up to us to just refine what the paint has already done, which is what I'm doing now. I'm adding a little bit of red underneath the beak of the bird. These are, I think they're called barnyard birds that I'm referencing, and they have a beautiful blue head and a little bit of a yellow-white stomach, and then a really red spot underneath their beak. And using the red and the blue together really makes the two colors pop off of each other. We have the warm yellow and the warm red of the chest of the bird, and then we have the cool wings and the cool top of the head on the bird, and then we're complementing the cool bird with the wire, which we're going to be doing in Payne's Gray. So what that does is it's just going to it'll make those warm parts stand out quite a bit. And when we add our wire, we want to move slowly. We want to make sure we have enough paint on our brush that we can drag it for a while before we fill it up again. I'm just painting over top of an existing pencil line. It's definitely important to have that pencil line in there because you need a guide for something like this. If I were to go to one of my birds and then find out that I had to move down a centimeter after I passed that bird to hit the next bird, that wire wouldn't flow very well. So drawing this all out ahead of time really helps us with our composition. And then the last step that we're going to do is we're just going to add in little feet to the bird, and we'll continue to add in small details as we go. The feet are just 3 lines. We're not going into too much detail here because this is a loose painting. And yeah, so just 3 lines wrapped around the wire, again using the Payne's Gray. A pretty simple painting, but it really looks beautiful. Oh, that was my daughter's hand in there. She's always trying to help me with my artwork. And there you have it. 4 birds on a wire. Beautiful little watercolor painting.